The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off on Monday morning in futures. We're trading higher right now. You got the S&Ps trading up by 37 points. We put things back to a 15-minute chart, and there we are, above the highs of Thursday, actually above the highs for a brief moment on Wednesday. We reached 6,077 just about an hour ago at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And right now we get the S&Ps up by 0.6%. NASDAQ 100 up by 175 points. 22,035 up by 0.8%. Dow up by 235 up by 0.6%. 42,758. And the Russell right now up by a full percentage point. Bitcoin up by $1,400, 106,830. Crude. So some of the worst fears over the weekend not coming to fruition. You have crude open Sunday night at near 77, pushing 78. It's been negative prices, downward prices since Sunday evening. And yeah, we're approaching the lows of Friday at 71.99 right now. Crude technically down 98 pennies, but yeah, you talk about pushing the highs, and just like that, we're back to $72 the price of crude. We talk about yields, we talk about fixed income, backing off a bit. And what is the consensus here? Well, we have lower price, higher yield, okay? And on the heels of that, when you got some higher yield coming at you, yeah, this whole oil spike is going to add some complexity to whether it's the Fed, okay, whether it's yields, whether it's inflation, okay? That's not the core part of things. But boy, inflation, core has been, crude has been so helpful on that inflation front. And yeah, we're seeing some spiking in crude. That's going to add to inflationary fears. And we'll see if that makes things a little bit more difficult for the Fed when it comes time to cut. Nonetheless, we got the 10-year right now negative by just 2 ticks, okay, at 110.17. But you see that we're almost a full point off of where you were late Thursday night coming into Friday. You get that escalation, and we get the 10-year right now at 4.44. 4.44, the 10-year. You jump over the dollar, back under 98, right? Even with higher yields, we get dollar weakness, man. In the context of everything going on, we get some dollar weakness. Dollar 97.86. We're in a 97 handle yet again. Yeah, and that's when we got rising yields out there. You jump over to the dollar, gold. 34.35 right now. So we have a dollar that's under 98. You have gold within about $75 of all-time highs. We're trading at 34.35. Negative by $18. You see the open on the future Sunday night. You spike to 34.76 in gold. You back off a bit. We're trading at 34.35. You see that escalation early on Friday as well as on Thursday. Jump over to silver right now. Silver trading at 36.50. We check in on copper this morning. Copper pushing about 4.80 so far this morning. All right, we jump around to some of the equities this morning. Markets in the green. Amazon shares up by about $1.50, trading at $213.50 this morning. You jump over to Apple shares in the positive by $1. Tesla up $6 to $331. Yeah, look at some of this acceleration. So Raytheon, look at this give back, man. Whew. Be careful chasing in this market. Twice it's happened, right? You got Raytheon right now. You're basically flat up to 162 in the pre-market. You were pushing 151. Pretty remarkable. Some of these stocks. You jump over to the airline stocks. Delta right now up by almost a dollar. Some of those risk sentiments where people were going into the weekend, they were taking risk off. A little bit of risk back on. Delta up by $1 right now. You got United up by almost $2 to $76. American up a bit. You jump over to JetBlue shares up about 10 pennies. We were taking a look at the cruise ships last week. Yeah, these cruise ships, man, they were getting decimated. Look at that sell-off, and you're going to get Carnival up by about 70 cents. Now, folks, we were taking a look at the longer-term chart of these equities. Stay away from these equities for right now. Yeah, there's a chance you get another roller coaster, but my goodness, look at these charts going back almost 30 years. Okay, Carnival, RCL, Royal Caribbean. That's the highlight there. Royal Caribbean's going to be up by about $4 or $5, but Norwegian is like Carnival, man. Look at that chart for Norwegian, right? Just chopping around the lows. Now, you're building costs. Which way are you building it for right now? This momentum really looks to the downside on these cruise ships, regardless of what's going on in the economy, what's going on if you got war in the Middle East. You compare that to something like Royal Caribbean. You come into the pandemic at $135, you crash down to $21. The dicey part here is we got a double top. You hit a high of $277 on Royal Caribbean back in January. We hit $279.89 earlier this month. And just like that, you've given up about $20. You're going to open this morning at $262. We got a gap in there from $264.10 for Royal Caribbean. All right, we jump around to some of the headlines this morning. I mean, where do you start, man? We got headlines everywhere. So Iran's leaders face a reckoning as Israel strikes intensify, to put it lightly, right? Oil turns lower as those attacks spare the flow of oil so far. So this was kind of the fears going into the weekend, right? Yeah, hasn't played out just yet. Oil remains on edge, that market, after Israel launched attacks, forcing the halt of production platform following strikes on Iran's nuclear site. However, critical crude oil exporting infrastructure has been spared, and there's been no blockage of the vital Strait of Hormuz. We'll see if that one, man. A potential blockage of that strait by Iran remains the most important market-moving event to watch for. There are no signs yet that such a scenario is in the cards. Yeah, there's a lot of risk in this market, man. You jump over to an equity like Boeing. We were talking about Boeing last week. The Air India flight, you come into that at 213. You trade lower on Thursday. You trade lower on Friday at 200. We're barely in the green this morning. Boeing shares up by about 60 cents, trading at 200. I'll call it 201 from 200.32. And then, yeah, so you got, of course, Israel and Iran, okay? You have the oil prices derived off the volatility you're getting with Israel and Iran. That is complicating the inflation picture. And then you have the tax bill going to the Senate. So the Senate is set to unveil their Trump tax bill, that draft, with the SALT fight unresolved. So that's still going to play out. No matter what they do, they're going to send it back to the House. Republicans in the Senate plan to unveil key details of their version of that policy bill as soon as today. They're trying to get that done by July 4th. That's been the context of this as it pushes forward. So it might be released later that day. And you get the finance chairman. Yeah, what are they going to do with that SALT deduction? Remarkable. That's become the key point. Politics, man. Politics are local, right? What are those local politicians going to get for that SALT? Much bigger picture in the focus, though. Stay tuned, folks. S&P's up by 41. We'll come right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's right now up by 38 points. NASDAQ 100 up by 171. We take a look at some of the equities that are moving this morning. We jump around to some of the chip stocks. NVIDIA, NVDA. So we're getting a little bit of a lift on those chip stocks right now. You got AMD higher as well. Piper Sandler upgrading them. We'll jump over to them in a moment. There's NVIDIA with the market right now up by, $1.50, trading at 143. You jump over to AMD. Trading up almost $3, man, to 119, 118.89 from 116 and change. And yeah, so Piper Sandler increases their target on AMD. AMD's AI business to surge after the third quarter when China-related charges have passed. AI in focus, as always. All right, how about Roku this morning? So, you check out this chart, right? How about the acceleration? Folks, remember things like this, man. Sometimes you don't have to be brilliant, okay? When you trade to this area, I say it all the time, right? It's an art, not a science, okay? My goodness. You trade to 486.72, right? You go all the way back down in 2021 to 275. You get all the way back up within a few dollars of that high, and then kaboom. They let the air out of the room. Okay, and here we are, sitting at $74, 4 years later almost. Okay, now you take a look at this thing. We got some nice volume back in February on their earnings from that earnings cycle. But look at how often you're making tops here. All right, keep this stuff in mind when you're trading technically, folks. Volume is always a determining factor, but sometimes it's just as simple as, we're reaching an area, I would call it ice. Right, an area of technical resistance or support. a nice round number of 100. Now, we're going to open above $80 this morning. So, Roku announces an exclusive partnership with Amazon that gives advertisers access to what the two call the largest authenticated footprint in connected TV. Advertisers can now reach roughly 80 million U.S. households through the Amazon platform, okay? So Amazon Ads and Roku announce a partnership. So we pull this one over. This is the news, okay? Largest authenticated CTV, okay, audience. 80% of U.S. television households is what they reach. Now, here's what I'll say. I love Amazon Prime. I also have Rokus in my house everywhere. I do see a lot of ads on the Roku. I'm not sure they're beneficial ads, right? How good are those ads? How good is a YouTube ad? People pay for it all the time. Yeah, so they're going to partner up. So advertisers, Amazon Ads offers full-time advertising solutions. And yeah, so you're going to be able to sync that up with Roku. Nonetheless, they like that on Roku, man. Roku shares trading up by $7 almost. You're getting almost a 10% pop. But boy, you start bumping into 100, and I like Roku. All right, we jump over right now. We're talking about a company currently valued at about $12 billion. The tough part here, though, is you're right in the middle of no man's land, but you're probably going to make a run for 100 if this market can hold up. But boy, we get into 100. I mean, we take a look at some of the volumes. Yeah, you go back to October of 23. The high there is $86. That's the highest volume day we have on a weekly basis going back. Nonetheless, Roku trading higher. So U.S. Steel, they're catching a pop as their deal on Friday gets approved. So Trump issues an executive order on Friday approving the merger with Japan's Nippon Steel. And the company has also signed a national security agreement that includes a golden share for the U.S. government. Nonetheless, you're going to open about $52. You're popping higher. $54 from $52 on X. We jump around to Amazon on that Roku deal. Just positive with the market. Much bigger deal for a Roku than it would be for Amazon, of course. Now, this one's an interesting one, all right? So, Celsius, all right? SELH, okay? So, this thing's going to pop a couple dollars, almost 5%. They get an upgrade from TD Cowen, okay? The growth story is heating back up. It's confident in the brand, smooth integration in the company's. They had a water Alani Nu acquisition. Nonetheless, I find myself drinking more of this recently. So I love coffee. Coffee's a little bit much in the afternoon. I've talked about my affinity for Starbucks cold brews. Okay, it's like the vice that I just throw away $6 on. That's what I feel. As in the way Starbucks somehow. I've talked about it before. And we're pulling up Starbucks here. They've got their own turnaround plan going. They had quite an acceleration last week with Howard Schultz. They had a whole event going on. He's confident in the new CEO, et cetera, et cetera. But realistically, drinking a big coffee in the afternoon with a bunch of cream and for $6, $7, it's probably something that I could do without. But hey, all things in context, okay? But yeah, I've started in Celsius. Okay, look at this run. Now that's a sign off the bottom, man. This is where, when you see things like this, right, you want a sign of strength. Stuff like that, right? Trade higher, you pull back on lighter volume. That was the buy, man. That was it. It wasn't necessarily the first. And yes, it could have been, okay? You said it. But it was you wait for a sign of strength. You wait for a pullback on lighter volume. Okay, and there was your acceleration on volume. There was your give back on lighter volume. Now, what was happening here is that you were coming into the complexities of the tariff war, of course. But even look at Celsius, man. Celsius, one of the few equities, look what it did coming into Liberation Day. You were at $22 in February, and you were pushing $36 by the time you got the reprieve, and now we're pushing $43. I tell you, folks, they got this drink available at Sam's. They got it everywhere now. And these types of drinks in general, you're talking about, coffee alternatives. It's got, and listen, they're not an advertiser. I don't own any of their shares, okay? No exposure whatsoever. But all I'm saying is sometimes listen to yourself. And what happens is when I say listen to yourself, right? There's a real market out there for these drinks, and Celsius is one of the big leaders right now. You're talking about a sparkling beverage. It's got caffeine in there, and then it's got whatever else it's got. It says it accelerates metabolism, burns body fat. Don't believe that for a second, okay? But it's basically a 0-calorie energy drink with some minerals in there as well. And yeah, they're rocking higher today. $43. You got to sign off the bottom. Celsius higher. We're coming back for the open, folks. Don't go away.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento for the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps up by 36, NASDAQ 100 up by 173, kicking off the trading week in positive territory. We jump over to yields. A little bit of lower price, higher yield. The 10-year, 4.44. 4.44, that's your 10-year. You jump over to the 2-year right now. Pretty similar action, slightly in the red. You jump over to the 30-year, ZB. Same exact deal, negative by 4 ticks. Slightly higher yield to kick off the week. You jump over to the dollar. No dollar strength, though. Check it out, mate. Hoo-wee. All right, so we were hitting lows on Friday at 98. We're hitting 97.81 right now in the dollar. Man, seems like we got 90 in the cards, folks. You look at this chart, technically. Tell me where that's going. Don't overthink it, right? That's what you do sometimes. It's just that simple. Some is what I'm doing on the double tops. Look at this chart. Look at the weakness. That's a monthly. We don't have a green monthly bar this year in the dollar yet. It's only June 16th, and you're breaking lower. And what are we trading into? The only thing we're trading into is 90, man. Dollar's going to 90. King dollar is going to 90. And there's a number of factors that are driving that right now. Okay? You talk about number of factors. Not any one in particular. Okay? And maybe it's the tariffs. Maybe, there's a lot going on. But no matter what is going on, they're selling the dollar on a continued basis with lower lows and lower highs, with the DXY now at 97.80. And gold basically at all-time highs. Okay, you got one spike higher to 35.09. We've given up those highs a bit. We traded just, what are we, $40 off the high? And this is where you want to be careful, okay? And I've been talking about this. We have dollar weakness today, and gold's giving it up right now. Gold should be getting another acceleration higher. And it just can't trade above this area. We're right where we were on Friday. And realistically, we're right where we were on early Friday morning. And then you put it on a daily. And yeah, we're pushing the highs we had in May 7th. And we're pushing the highs we had in April 27th. So check this out, right? You got to pay attention to this, okay? On May 7th, the dollar was $1.50 higher. So we've weakened by $1.50 in the DXY, and gold has held that same price point from May 7th, okay? And then you go back to April 22nd, and yeah, it was in similar area, but we're still below there. So you've had dollar weakness, and gold just struggling to break above those highs right now, but gold maybe just due for a consolidation as we get a little bit of dollar weakness. We get the market catching a bit, though, with the S&Ps up by 44 now, and the NASDAQ 100 up by 201. We take a look at the volume on the indices. Now, that was a volume bar to pay attention to Friday, folks. Okay, we've been talking about these volumes on June 9th, which was last Monday, right? Yeah, last Monday we had the lowest volume day of the year. Okay? And then on Friday, we get the highest volume day we've had in over 2 months to the downside. That's quality volume to the downside. Okay, we'll see what happens today. The day is young, as our man Basil Chapman would say. It is extremely young. But there's some fear coiled up in this market at the price point we're at, as these S&Ps, we're 90 points away from all-time highs right now, folks. 90. With the uncertainty in certain areas right now, whether it's the crude price uncertainty, take the war out of things, right? Just the crude price. We get a crude spike, that is going to complicate things, and we're getting it to a degree. We're at $71 right now. You take war out of the equation, and you shouldn't. You can from a financial perspective. Obviously, hopefully tensions ease over there. Hasn't seemed to be happening just yet. But just the crude spike alone, that's going to complicate things for the Fed. We have yields rising a bit right now. That could push inflationary forces higher. That could make it difficult for the Fed to cut. All of this stuff as the market inches towards 6,100 right now. And, we bring it back to volume in the same way. All right. Now, we didn't have the same acceleration in the NASDAQ like we did in the S&Ps on volume. You still had the lightest volume day in the NASDAQ last Monday that we had all year. And yes, we got a decent spike on Friday, but nothing like the S&Ps. Right? You look at that volume that we did on the NASDAQ, 548,000 contracts. We did more volume on June 5th. And then compare that to the S&P. So what is that saying? NASDAQ stronger. That's it. NASDAQ's about 400 points higher, 2%. S&P's about 1.5% from all-time highs. And then you take a look at the Dow. The Dow had a big spike as well. We're not back above Friday's high. The S&Ps were above it. Okay? And the NASDAQ were above it. But keep your eye on those volumes on the S&Ps because that was quite a spike. We did over 2 million contracts in the S&Ps. The first time we've done that since April 10th, the day following the reprieve on that 90 days. And remember, that 90-day reprieve is coming, man. We'll probably get an extension. Excuse me. But that, excuse me, that 90-day reprieve, folks, was April 9th. We're coming up. We're coming up on July 9th, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Those details are going to start to matter right as we come down the line. Excuse me, right as we come down the line with what's supposed to be the tax bill coming through to July 4th. So there's a lot of expectations looming right now, and we will see if they play out. All right, jumping back to Celsius for a moment. Because I tell you, remember, I always say you want to listen to yourself a bit, okay? And yeah, I probably should have went out when I was loading up on Celsius because it was at a low, but I'm paying attention now. Yeah, and you jump over to this company, okay, Celsius. Come on. Come on, load for me. There we go. And you're talking about a company right now at $11.1 billion, okay? They're up 5.5% today. Now, we talked about the purchase they just made in this one. So they just bought one of their competitors for $1.8 billion in February, okay? Alani Nu. Is that how you pronounce it? Possibly, okay? And that is a fast-growing, popular brand with young women. So they're trying to capitalize the entire market. Energy drink sales have been climbing. Celsius's growth has slowed over the past year. They're trying to buy into that growth. This brand was started in 2018 by an influencer. These influencers, man. Whew. The company built its brand largely through partnerships with influencers such as Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Addison Rae. Pretty remarkable. Now, you look at Celsius again, and what's remarkable is all right, let me bring this one over. And this is what I was going to show. And realistically, folks, I'm somebody that is a consumer of this right now. And caffeine in general, okay? Yeah, you want to keep it light. You don't want to go too late in the day. But even if it's around lunch or something like that, I'm doing the morning program right now. Sometimes I'll have a coffee or a Celsius before the afternoon show. Sometimes I try and get a little exercise in the middle of the day when I'm working so early to so late. We'll talk a little bit more, though. This one's got my attention. We'll be right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets climbing higher on the open. You catch a little bit of a bid in the S&Ps. We're up by 46 points. NASDAQ 100. You catch a bid as well. Up by 218 right now. We jump around. Yeah, Amazon does give it back. They're flat. 212.08. Jump over to Apple shares. Up 63 pennies right now. You jump over to the chips. NVIDIA up 1.2%. AMD up by 3.8. There you go. We talked about them. Getting a bit of an upgrade today. We jump over to Roku on their deal with Amazon, up by we'll call it 10%. There you go on Roku shares. Quite the acceleration. And yeah, Celsius catching a bit, up by 5.9%. So the general gist is these drinks, I feel myself. Caffeine's a drug, folks. Caffeine's the biggest drug in the world, man. Right next to alcohol, all right, but bigger than that. And yeah, green tea, guarana seed, ginger root, chromium, vitamin C, vitamin B. The real kicker is, folks, it's zero sugar, okay? Here it is. It's got caffeine, zero sugar, no preservatives, no artificial colors and flavors, and some vitamins. You keep it simple. And I'm telling you that this industry is seeing it in Sam's, seeing them everywhere, and seeing, it's a drug, okay? It's a caffeine drug. And there's a lot of caffeine in these. All right, I think it's 200 milligrams. Let's see if they push it in there. Can I even see it? There it is, 200 milligrams, okay? So if you're drinking these, that's like 2 or 3 cups of coffee. Average caffeine in a cup of coffee. Let's see. 95 milligrams in a cup of coffee. So this is 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine. You got vitamins in there, you got 0 calories, and it tastes good. Yeah. Put that one on your radar. And then we always talk price and volume, man. That is a nice sign of strength. Off the bottom, you pull back on lighter volume right now, and you're climbing higher. All right. And yeah, this is. I don't know how you defend this one, folks. I know you're in there talking about Dan. I had it queued up already. You have the president launching a self-branded mobile phone service, and he's going to be selling your phones made in America. And folks, you should, this is, it's not the best for the economy. It makes no sense. I don't understand how any of this, this article from May 27th, okay, is the Trump advisor saying that we don't want to harm Apple with iPhone tariffs as they put 25% or more on phones made outside the U.S. And then the president himself launches a brand that's going to make them in the country. If you don't want your guy doing it, man, and the other guy, there's no way anybody supporting Trump would ever want Obama doing this, or Hillary, or Biden. Okay? It's indefensible, folks. And this is where we just lose reasonable nature. Let's get Trump to do some good things. He probably shouldn't be launching phone services, okay, as he's smacking tariffs on individual companies that are the biggest phone maker in the world. To tell me there's no conflict of interest, there's no bias, it fails in the comparison of reasonable conversation. And, it's unfortunate that we can't even say that without somehow it becoming somehow like a hot topic, like, oh, come on, you just don't like Trump. It's bananas. And I know I'm already, it's bananas, folks, okay? To have a president putting tariffs on single companies and then starting companies that compete with that specific company. And the reason why is, okay, we always hear this, you want competition. Competition is best for innovation. It's best for the economy. It's best for jobs. Okay, there's no way the best thing for the American economy is individual companies facing tariffs as the president is launching his own brands to compete with that company that he's tariffing. Yeah, it's great if you want to bring them into the U.S. Let's go for it. It's not going to be great in the way that you're taxing individual companies and then the president himself is starting brands because obviously he's going to prioritize that profit. Okay? The definition of a conflict of interest, folks, is that you can't remove yourself from it. Even a Supreme Court justice is not up to the task of removing it because no one can. It's the definition of a conflict of interest. It's an indefensible action and every line keeps getting crossed. This is simple stuff. Okay, we're not talking about the LA riots, all right? There's always some truth in between of everything, okay? This is some simple stuff. He's slapping 25% tariffs on Apple, the biggest phone company in the world, okay? And at the same time, he's launching companies to compete with their product that now face a 25% tariff. There's no way that's the best thing for American innovation, jobs, and economic growth. Period. End of story. It's just unfortunate you can't have those types of conversations, and it's unfortunate that the people that really support him won't have that conversation, so he keeps pushing lines, and this one is just crazy, man. Everyone's going to say stick to politics, okay? Stick to the business, not to politics. Folks, at what point is it going to be a problem when you're literally, okay, launching Trump-branded mobile phone services, the phones are going to be made in America? Well, that's great, okay? But you can't tell me that it's not at the expense of innovation and economic growth when you're slapping a tariff on your competitor, Apple, and you're the person that controls how big that competitor tariff is, and then you're the one that's going to be launching a competitor. Yeah. It did make me think of Mint Mobile, though. Ryan Reynolds acquiring $1.35 billion. Not bad. Okay? But yeah, well, what better time to launch a phone brand than when you're slapping tariffs on the iPhone coming in from overseas? That's a great idea. I wonder if that's going to contribute to how he looks at tariffs. Do you think he's going to pull those tariffs off if he's got a competitor? This is real stuff, folks, okay? We want the president making sure that he might pull those tariffs off if it's the best thing for the country. But you know what's going to make it difficult for him to pull tariffs off? If he's got a phone company making phones in America? All right. Let's jump around. We check in on the crude market this morning, rising a bit. 72.33. We'll see. We always got some headline risk right there. And that's going to stay ever present. Just looking at the volume, that was quite a bit we got right at 9 o'clock. You traded up almost 50 cents in that 1 5-minute bar. You did it with volume. Crude's breaking 72.28. I know, and everybody loves it. Mike, I love you, man. You're such a great contributor in the den. It just doesn't make sense, folks, on the Trump Mobile. Listen, it just doesn't make sense, okay? There's no way anybody supporting the president launching brands as he's tariffing American companies, making things overseas. If Obama did it, oh my God, could you imagine Fox News if Obama came out with an Obama phone? The Obama phone. No, we're going to tax the other phones. They're not a tax, though. They're a tariff, right? And then we're going to sell Obama phones and we're going to sell Hillary phones. And the best one is we're going to sell Joe Biden phones. Okay, Joe Biden's going to start a phone company when he's taxing all the other companies bringing in their phones from overseas. Joe Biden, he's going to start his own phone company. He's going to sell everybody Biden phones. He's going to make a lot of money for his whole family, including Hunter Biden. Okay? Folks, come on. This This is not where we want the future to go, that every president is tariffing companies and then starting his own brands to compete with those companies. Let's draw the line somewhere, and we'll end it there, and we'll talk some stocks when we get back. Stay tuned, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Markets catching a bit. S&P's up by 60 points. We're making a run for all-time highs, man. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 266, 22,126, up 1.2%. You got the Dow up 413 right now. We take a look at Bitcoin. So we got a question in the YouTube Tigers Den. Yeah, and are we going to get there? Let's see. Think Bitcoin and MSTR make another run? You know, what I will say is volume drying up a bit. This is a chart of the Bitcoin futures right now. You make a first leg acceleration from August at about 52,000. You trade all the way up to the highs of 110, we'll call it. Now, this pullback was exactly a 618, folks, okay, to about 75,000. The thing is, look at the volume we're looking at here. Okay, the last 3 weeks we're chopping around under 40,000 contracts. You go back to the week of May 19th, you're talking about 53,000 contracts. That was the real acceleration to 112,000. But look at that volume that you got, okay, 53,000. Look at how many bars have been above 53,000 when you go back to that first acceleration. That's not how you need to break these highs, okay? We're still pushing these highs, as in we're up to 109,000 on December 16th. You were up to, on January 20th, 110,000, okay? But we had a lot of volume at those highs. Look at all those volume bars. 80,000 on a weekly basis, 60,000 on a weekly basis, 61, 58, 75, right? We haven't done more than 60,000 contracts since the 90-day pause. And in the meantime, Bitcoin has gone from 80,000 to 110. 80,000 to 110, and we haven't done more than 60,000. Look how many times we did 60,000 on that first acceleration back to 110, right? So I'd be a little skeptical. The other side of that is a 1-to-1 brings you to 131,000. So look for more volume, but you're in a dicey area, bumping up against those highs. And if you're going to get into that, I would get into Bitcoin and not MicroStrategy, because I feel like MicroStrategy is really ready to rip lower. You get a real pullback in that Bitcoin market. You are ultra leveraged, and watch out for a MicroStrategy. All right, folks. Thanks so much for kicking your Monday off right here with me. Stay tuned. We got a man, Basil Chapman. I see him in the den. He's getting ready for the Tiger Technicians Hour coming up next. We got a man, Steve Rhodes, with the Trader's Edge, Fast Market, Larry Pesavento, and I'll be back at 3. Have a great